Pisces, whether you're using the timestamps to skip to the end or you've been hanging out with me for the last hour or so, I appreciate you. And the title of this video for you is Believe You Can. And as we go through the transits, I think it's going to make perfect sense for you. So here's how this forecast is going to play out. First, we're going to look at the backstory, which is Pluto Retrograde in Aquarius. This is a slow moving transit. But it's powerful, and I believe it's subconsciously influencing the decisions that we're making on a day-to-day. Then we're going to move to the quick moving energy, and there's a lot going on for you because your chart rulers, Jupiter and Neptune, are heavy-handed this month. So some days are sweet, other days you may want to run for cover. If you were born closer to February 19th, you could benefit from listening to Aquarius. If your birthday is closer to March 20th, you may resonate with Aries because these are whole house readings. So you may have to piece some of the things together unless you get a personal reading and use your specific data. Now, that said, listen to your rising sign first. It uses your birth date, your location, and your time of birth to generate the energy around the zodiac wheel. Then you can listen to your sun sign for career insights and your moon sign, which reflects your private life and how you feel. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. It started its backspin on May 4th. It's going to go until mid-October. Retrogrades, as you know, are times to review, to refine. Pluto is the transformer. It's intense. It can feel like a death and rebirth process. So it's out with the old and in with the new. Pluto will be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So during the retrograde, you're being asked to revise anything related to your 12th house. Now, this is like, it likes this house, okay? It identifies with this house. And this is your home zone, actually. So it represents your intuition, your psychic abilities. This is why you can oftentimes pick up on people's energy when they say they're fine, you know better. You can even feel their pain at times, you know. Now, having these kinds of gifts is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it makes you very empathetic and compassionate, but it's also very draining. You may find that after being around large crowds, you need some alone time to reset. So while Pluto is moving through your 12th, you could veer more towards that direction. You know, solitude may become your new best friend. So I want you to be conscious of this because it can also be a form of escapism. You know, shutting out the world because you don't want to deal with other people's problems and you don't feel comfortable sharing your own. I think that when we spend too much time in isolation, we can develop secret behaviors that aren't in our best interests, right? It can start out with not making the bed in the morning, skipping a shower here and there, eating cereal 3 times a day. But it can get more serious, like it can lead to hoarding, OCD, using vices. So I think the best way to use Pluto and Aquarius in the 12th is to embrace the spiritual world. You were born to do it, and that doesn't mean that all of you will become psychic, but you could. And since Aquarius is also about technology and science, I think it pairs really well with metaphysics, neuroscience, natural remedies that heal the mind, body, and soul, energy work like red light therapy, aerospace even, you know, anything that's fifth dimension, life after death. Use your skills to help the collective tap into the unknown. And during the retrograde, you could be sorting out how to do this, especially since Pluto is connected to your 9th house of higher learning, of foreign travel, of psychology, mentorship, teaching. It's the house of exploration. So over the next 2 decades, I believe you are meant to make the unknown known, commonplace, understandable, relatable, to help us all evolve. I think you're our spiritual teachers for this era, okay? So that's what's happening in the background. Now let's talk about the quicker moving energy, and we're gonna focus first on Venus. No pressure, just like Aquarius, no pressure. So let's move on to June 6th, up until Independence Day. Venus, the planet of love and money, is moving into its home sign of Taurus, bringing a very grounded approach to everything that we value. So for you, it's activating your 3rd house. And That's communications. It's your mind. Your words are really going to hold extra power. This includes what you say to yourself. And this is great for public speaking, for blogs, for negotiating contracts, or if you've had your eyes on a new vehicle, I'd start combing for deals. This can also point towards local hangouts, neighbors, and siblings. So if you have a favorite hotspot, if you really enjoy spending time with your neighbors or relatives, I say fire up those group texts and put plans in motion. Venus is also connected to your joint resources and your emotional bonds. So I think like campfire chats could have like really deep undertones. And if you're working on a media project like a podcast, maybe you have a co-host or regular guests. And if you are buying a car, perhaps it involves joint financing or credit. If you land a big contract, you might have to assemble a team, or the scope of work might involve like outsourcing to third parties. You get the idea. Taurus is stable and favors security, so work through the line items and delegate to trusted sources is what I would say for the next month. Now we're going to move to the 9th, and we're going to talk about the second ingress of the month, and that's Jupiter here. And that's your chart ruler. Jupiter's on the move. So starting on June 9th, all the way until mid-July of next year, Jupiter now moves from Gemini into Cancer and through Cancer. So what does this mean for you? Wisdom, growth, optimism, good luck is now going to stem from your 5th house of joy. That's romance, dating, creative projects, small business, hobbies, children, things that actually make you feel like a kid again. So since Jupiter is you, these 5th house things will influence your lifestyle, how you look, how you feel, how you're seen by others. It's like when we hear someone laugh wholeheartedly and then we also laugh. It's contagious. And since Jupiter also rules over your 10th house of career and public image, reputation, social status, you are in the spotlight. Your career could really blossom over this next year. You might be recognized for your parenting style. You could reach an important life milestone like becoming a grandparent or starting a nonprofit, because this house points towards legacy. And again, it's contagious. So I really love the way that this year looks for you. Now, all of this energy is leading us into the full moon in Sagittarius. And the reason for that is because Sagittarius is also ruled by Jupiter. So the ruler of this moon is Jupiter. And it's happening at 21 degrees, which is calling everyone to have a plan. Now, as we know, full moons are turning points, are endings, are completions. And this is happening in your 10th house of career, reputation, and social status. So are you accepting a promotion? Are you tying the knot? Are you letting go of something here to make space for your higher calling? Jupiter, again, is your identity, and your 10th house is what you're known for. So I'm curious, I really hope you leave me a comment. The moon is activating Mars right here. So that's boosting your work, health, and habits. And there's also a trine to Chiron here in your 2nd house of money. So you could be healing something related to your relationship with money or your self-esteem. And yes, you do have squares right here to your north and your south node. So this is a really karmic moon for you. The north node is what we need to embrace to move into our destiny, and it's in your 1st house. So you need to be as authentic as possible. And what you need to release and let go of to reach your destiny is the south node, and that's in your 7th house of committed partnerships. So if this is about some kind of codependency, this could be a major breakup or separation that now has you embracing the single life over being in a dynamic duo. The 7th house is also tied to business, and this is career. So this could very well be a business partnership that dissolves or separates in some way. And now you're flying solo, right? Destiny's Child and Beyonce style. But I hope that makes sense for you. I'm on pins and needles. So again, I really hope you leave me a comment. So then now let's go to the 15th, and that is some of the trigger warning days of the month, not just for you, for everyone. This is, I think, the full moon kickback. And you're going to feel this energy come correct on June 15th when Mars in Leo squares Uranus and Taurus. So this is loaded. We're going to have to break it down. Mars is about leadership. It's a very passionate, motivated sign, which can veer towards aggression and competitiveness. Leo likes the spotlight. It's on the tail end of your 6th house of work, health, and habits. So your schedule is getting tousled, and this can be frustrating. And Mars is also connected with what you want to learn, where you want to travel, what you believe in, as well as your personal finances and your investments and self-esteem. So you may feel like you're not being compensated for your efforts. You could be frustrated that you're not seeing the results from exercise, or again, your schedule is being thrown off. So what's causing it? Well, for that, we need to look at Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus does bring sudden change, especially when it's activated in a square like this to a power player like Mars. So it will be unexpected. It will be sudden. It could be potentially life-altering. But in Taurus, it's because you don't feel respected or secure. So it's in your 3rd house at the final degrees there. So this is the final push. And this could be about not feeling heard. You could be struggling to find the words, or an incident, quite frankly, blows your top and all the words spill out, like, I quit, enough's enough. And you could explode on a client, a neighbor, a relative who's been like poking at you or provoking you to doubt yourself, or some kind of secret. Or it's because you're keeping some kind of secret about them or from them, because Uranus is tied to your hidden 12th house. So things that you keep private. Yeah. So biting your tongue is compromising your values, Taurus, and messing with your head, the 12th house. So you erupt, Uranus, by spilling the beans, 3rd house, which mucks with your work or health, Mars in the 6th. That's what I think's happening. Now, also on the 15th, we've got another square to Jupiter. Oh, jeepers. All right, Jupiter. And this is the 3rd and final square. So we have to think back to what was happening towards the end of August last year and what was happening on Christmas Eve. This is the grand finale. This is do or die. This is final straw. Jupiter is squaring off against Saturn in Aries. Here, Jupiter, Saturn. So great. So now you've got your creative projects, 5th house stuff, romance, dating, children, hobbies, speculative investments. I really hope you don't lose gambling. I hope you don't gamble on this day. And your career and public image is in conflict with Saturn the taskmaster. And in your money zone, which is also tied to the way you make money, your social life, your goals, your private 12th house. So if you quit your job, or you fire a major client, or you tell your boss off, I think you better have a backup plan. Or if you're working with a friend on a project, you better communicate clearly who's responsible for what. If you're dating someone who's drunk all the time, that's a public reflection on you. Or if your kids constantly have your hand out, that's a stressor. Not just financially, but emotionally, right? Do you feel like a parent who wants the best interest for your kids, or do you feel like an ATM? Jupiter wants more. Saturn and Jupiter wants more here in the 5th house of children, romance, dating, pleasure. But Saturn wants boundaries. Boundaries over your money. Okay, we're not done yet. We've got to talk about the 18th. It's a very similar setup because we're still dealing with Jupiter and Cancer in a square, but now Neptune's involved. So it's like, yeah, you blew your top, but at least you knew what was up. Now Neptune it's all in your head. So we've got your personal life again, romance, creative projects, hobbies, and kids, that ties to how others see you, as well as your friendships and your professional networks and your long-term wishes. Now this is in conflict with secrets, mental chatter, and vices. And Neptune is confusing. So Neptune's your chart ruler, and you're getting racked over the coals twice. So are you sick or injured and not able to enjoy your life right now? Did you lose a friend and now your social circle is pretty awkward? Did a client fire you and now you're scrambling to replace your income? Neptune's purpose in the universe is to confuse. And when the 12th house is activated, it can really trigger a pity party in all the ways. So it wants you to use whatever is available to drown out the noise instead of seeing things clearly. So I think that you've got to use Jupiter to attract a solution. So my advice is to soak and meditate instead of isolating and medicating on this day. Okay. All right, now let's go to some nicey nice days. On the 24th, Jupiter, your chart ruler, is going to be conjunct the sun. That forms a Cazimi. Some astrologers call it the day of miracles because a Cazimi is when the sun amplifies the energy of the planet, and Jupiter is the planet of good luck, good fortune. So your personal life, your body, your identity, your subconscious will be lit up and influenced by your 6th house of work, health, and habits. So if someone explodes or things go sideways during those squares, today on the 24th, you just got to roll up your sleeves and spring into action. You need to find new work. You need to dive into a new project. You need to hire new coworkers. You need to get back on the wagon. You need to get into a routine. If you're dating someone, I think this is more about having an experience over dinner. I think that if you're into sports, that's a good thing. If you are chilling with your kids, I think getting active, playing tennis, something like that, something with a lot of movement, hand-eye coordination is good. You could tag your friends and play like golf. But this is also something that I think that you need to do consistently, like every Saturday morning. You're moving your body, you're getting into a rhythm. So use the spurt of energy to put that plan in motion. That's going to be my suggestion. Okay, now on the 25th, this is your final major event of the month. It is the Cancer new moon, sitting right next to the sun, sitting right next to Jupiter, activating your 5th house of joy, romance, sports, creative projects, small business, children. So on June 25th, I think you really need to set intentions related to who you want to date, what you want to create, how you want to have more fun with your kids, or just how you want to enjoy life more. And maybe that's what this entire month has been about. Something was causing you too much stress, and now you just need to take a break. And I'm not suggesting you run off with the circus or turn a blind eye to your responsibilities, but I do think that you could have been projecting something onto the 5th house areas, making it feel like your dating life, creativity, or kids were stifling you. So I would focus on rebuilding these relationships, and that will really set you up to have a romantic and fun holiday season in 6 months. So all the best, Pisces. Thank you for joining me. So there you have it. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Astro ROI. If you found value in your forecast, please pay it forward by subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell, and posting a comment on how you're navigating the energy this month. If you'd like to read your horoscopes, go to astrocoachkate.com, where you can also find all the ways to train with me. I hope to see you back here in July. Enjoy the day.